This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
Program is rated MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, it does not matter who the host is. What has always matters is who the listeners are. We are broadcasting from our Safety FM studios on this lovely Monday, December the 9th of 2024, day 344th of the year, and only 22 days left to go. Yeah, we're coming from that studio in Orlando, Florida, across the multiverse known as Safety FM, and then we are hanging out with our friends and colleagues over there.
You're being infiltrated. Radio Big.
Yes, infiltration and Radio Big is kind of the way that we go with doing some of the stuff that we do around here. There is definitely not a doubt about that. So don't worry as we are talking, because, hey, man, yeah, that's what we do. Infiltration, Radio Big. Just kind of the way of the world of the things that we do. No doubt there. So anyways, how was your weekend? Did you survive another weekend before the holidays? Because that's going to be a big thing for people to talk about. Hey, I had to go do this. I had to go do that. I swear, I hardly been inundated with any mailing list or advertisements about any kind of sales or cyber deals that I could have potentially missed out on and all that kind of fun stuff. And yesterday, I have to tell you, I went to Universal Studios. And not talking about them in particular, but remember I had told you that the weekend of Thanksgiving, I went there on Sunday. Hardly anyone. Yesterday I went, totally reverse scenario. Everybody and their brother was there. But hey, I mean, that's cool because a lot of people were there for the Macy's Day Parade thing that they have. So, good for them. So anyway, let's talk about this. Here's what we got going on this lovely Monday. We're going to talk about everything that was going on over the weekend. Our show consists of safety in the news, so don't worry about that. So we're going to talk about that stuff. And then I'm going to go into some information about a main story. So that's what we'll do. We'll go into that. Also, if you want to interact with the show, callinradio.com. That's callinradio.com. Audio, video, and text messaging is where we are able to communicate with you. If you go into to the social media stuff, yeah, at some point I'll get to you. It just more than likely will be after the show. And some people are like, you ignored me. I didn't ignore you. I just don't look at anything there. So that's it. That's the Schindler's List there. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Okay, so with that being said, let's go from here and go into some other info. Are you excited about this Friday? Friday the 13th. Some people are excited about this new Dexter series. We'll take a look. We'll take a look at some of that. But before I start ranting and raving about everything under the sun, why don't we start talking about what the hell was trending in the overnight?
Here is what was trending. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's take a look at those trending moments. So this is what was happening. Icy roads aren't the only thing to worry about behind the wheels this winter. We'll talk about that as we get into the shit list. Also, Barry Keoghan calls social media trolls, and a housewife shows off some facial damage. We'll talk about that as we get into show business. Also, a pair of ruby slippers sells for a record-breaking price at auction, and Coldplay announces a charity event. So we'll get into some of that. And also, Donald Trump suggests that Prince Harry could have some immigration troubles in the forthcoming his forthcoming administration. So there it is. A lot of stuff for us to talk about. So be on the lookout as we are talking there. So there you go. Some stuff happening always as we are looking around and doing our thing. So with that being said, let's go ahead and bring in our friends from Feature Story News and let them talk with everything that's going on right now. So let's do that.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in New Delhi, I'm Neha Punia. Celebrations continue across Syria as the country wakes up to the end of Bashar al-Assad's rule, a family that had been in power for 5 decades. Over the weekend, rebels seized the capital of Damascus, forcing President Bashar al-Assad to flee. The president is now in Moscow along with his family. Russian state media are confirming and will be given asylum there. Trent Murray has more.
Scenes of jubilation continuing to play out in towns and cities across the country, marking really the end of what has been one of the most brutal civil wars, not just the Middle East has experienced in recent times, but indeed the world. We have seen some of those people in the capital Damascus, for example, even breaching the presidential palace of Damascus, looting the personal belongings of the Assad family. Of course, through much of the past 24 hours, one of the big questions had been where President Bashar al-Assad fled to. Certainly there were indications that he was on a plane, but the destination was unknown. Overnight, we have heard from Russian state media that he and his family have now travelled to Moscow, where they were granted asylum by President Putin.
US President Joe Biden has offered his nation's ongoing support for Syria, but it's not clear what Biden's approach will be and whether it will be shared by his successor, Donald Trump, who takes over next month. Jagrati Dave is in Washington, D.C.
A moment of historic opportunity. That's how Joe Biden described the capture of Damascus and the departure of Assad after more than 2 decades in power. Mr. Biden's optimism came with a warning that this was also a moment of risk and uncertainty, with ISIS preparing to take advantage of the power vacuum. With that in mind, he said the US had conducted dozens of precision airstrikes in Syria. The incoming Trump administration is also watching events in the Middle East closely, with the president-elect posting on Truth Social a day before the government's collapse, "This is not our fight. Let it play out. Do not get involved." But given the level of existing US sanctions on Syria's economy and concerns about ISIS, the Trump administration may find that staying out of Syria is easier said than done.
China is monitoring developments in Syria, it says, and hopes the country returns to stability as soon as possible. Beijing's foreign ministry also said its embassy in Damascus has been helping Chinese nationals leave Syria.
On Chinese social media, the fall of President Bashar al-Assad was a trending topic, with the search term "rebels declare end to Assad rule" receiving more than 9.5 million views. Beijing has stepped up engagement with Damascus in recent years, looking to Syria to expand its influence in the Middle East. Last year, Chinese President Xi Jinping invited Assad to China.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks, with more on the weekend's extraordinary events in Syria and the sweeping from power of dictator Bashar al-Assad. US President-elect Donald Trump said over the weekend that he does not believe the United States should be playing any role, arguing on social media that this is not our fight. But in fact, the US is already deeply engaged in Syrian affairs. There are 900 troops in the northeast of the country supporting Kurdish fighters there, and American sanctions on Syria's oil and gas sectors are so comprehensive that to all intents and purposes it has a stranglehold over the country's economy. Joshua Landis heads the Center for Middle East Studies at the University of Oklahoma.
There are heavy American sanctions on this. America owns all the oil and gas, so that's not coming to the Syrian government. And so Assad has not been able to rebuild. We'll have to see what the new one brings and whether America will lift those sanctions, return oil and gas to the Damascus, or keep it for the Kurds. These are going to be big questions. They're going to look to the international community to lift those sanctions.
He spoke to Canada's CBC. Many observers believe that after Bashar al-Assad and members of his minority Alawite sect in Syria, the Kurds may be the biggest losers from this weekend's events, with Turkey watching closely and hoping to neutralise Kurdish hopes for autonomy. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
The main news again. Syria's Bashar al-Assad is in Moscow and will be given asylum there, Russian state media is confirming, even as celebrations continue across Syria following his ouster. US President Joe Biden has offered his nation's ongoing support for Syria as he claims America's approach to Syria shifted the balance of power in the Middle East. China says it is monitoring developments and hopes the country returns to stability soon. And that is the latest feature story news. Neha Punya reporting.
Safety in a way never heard of before. The Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month, and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
If you're anything like me, you have certain tendencies to put things off, such as filing taxes, seeing the doctor, working on that home improvement project that you're supposed to be doing, but you just haven't gotten to it. And while most of the times it works out, the one thing in life that you really cannot afford to wait on is setting up term coverage life insurance. You've probably seen life insurance commercials on TV and thought, yeah, I'll look into it later. Well, the answer is no. This isn't something that you can wait for. Choose life insurance through Ladder today. Ladder is 100% digitals, no doctors, no needles, no paperwork. When you apply for $3 million in coverage or less, just answer a few questions about your health in an application. Ladder's customers rate them 4.8 out of 5 stars on Trustpilot, and they've made Forbes' best life insurance in 2021's list. You just need a few minutes and a phone or a laptop to apply. Ladder's smart algorithm works in real time, so you'll find out if you're instantly approved. No hidden fees, cancel anytime, get full refund if you change your mind in the first 30 days. Ladder policies are issued by insurers with long proven histories of paying claims. They're rated A and A+ by AM Best. Finally, since life insurance costs more as you age, now is the time to cross it off your list. So go to ladder.com/safetyfm today to see if you're instantly approved. That's LADDER life.com/safetyfm. Ladderlife.com/safetyfm.
More sarcasm than a Mortal Kombat beatdown. Rated R Safety Show.
It's a new year, but it's feeling harder than ever to find and hire qualified people you need, especially for small businesses. That's where LinkedIn Job comes in. They make it easier to find people you want to talk to faster and for free. You can create a free job post in minutes on LinkedIn Jobs to reach your network and beyond to the world's largest professional network of over 770 million people. Focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience and use screening questions to get your role in front of the most qualified people. Then use the simple tools on LinkedIn Jobs to quickly filter and prioritize who you'd like to interview and hire. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering qualified hires versus leading competitors. I have to tell you that we have used LinkedIn Jobs to even find some of the people that we have here at Safety FM. LinkedIn Jobs can help you find the candidates you want to talk to faster. Did you know that every week nearly 40 million job seekers visit LinkedIn? Post your jobs for free on LinkedIn.com/safetyfm. That's LinkedIn.com/safetyfm to post your job for free. Terms and conditions do apply. And don't forget to tell them that you heard it right here on Safety FM.
Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
Oh, yes, some risky business as we are 17 minutes past the top of the hour hanging out on this lovely Monday. So let's start talking right away about some of the things that are going on inside of the world of the multiverse, because that's kind of part of what we do. Nerd alert, Michael Jamin claimed the top prize of this year's Excel Championship. Yes, Microsoft Excel Championship. The financial due diligence expert from Canada edged out Andrew the Annihilator. No, really, that's his nickname. From Australia at the Las Vegas Gala. The championship challenges include managed data and simulated game of Worldcraft, with each spreadsheet whiz calculating characters' various in-game capabilities as the scenarios unfold. For his accomplishment, Jamin took home $5,000 in a WWE-style belt. When everything gets announced, people tend to start going bananas about it. If you want to, we can take a little listen here of some of the stuff.
Points in it between
They're still going. They're still going.
We
Andrew's
have
looking at
30
the board.
seconds left.
Okay, let's see.
Can
30
anybody
seconds.
knock Michael Jarman off top spot with 30
Oh my
seconds
gosh.
to go?
And it's, are we going to see?
I think it's coming.
Are we going to see?
20 seconds left.
Australia to Canada.
Oh, where's it going, guys? Come on, let's hear some noise in the audience.
All right, let's see. 10
Where
seconds
are we going?
left. 10 seconds.
Come on.
Anything. Is anything going to happen?
Can anybody throw a Leroy Jenkins out in the last few seconds?
Leroy Jenkins.
Come on,
All
Leroy.
Michael
Jordan.
Yep, people getting super excited here about playing the game. I don't know if the dude's Michael Jordan, but that's what they're saying there. Yep.
The World Championship.
So there you go. People very excited about playing the game in Microsoft. So yeah, I mean, hey, whatever. I mean, whatever works. Whatever floats your boat, I guess. So there you go. So a new study has given the meaning to happy wife, happy life, but that's the mutual enjoyment of each other's company goes both ways. The research team analyzing that data gathered in a different studies from 321 older adult couples who have been together on average 44 years from Canada and Germany. Participants completed regular surveys to report their moods throughout the day and provided corresponding saliva samples up to 7 times each day to measure their levels of cortisol and stress hormones. Yep, I'm not. This is what the report says. So there you go. In general, one partner had lower levels of cortisol when the other partner reported positive mood. When one partner reported more negative emotions, there was a corresponding increase in each other's cortisol levels. However, researchers suggest that this could mean that older people do a better job at regulating their emotions. Overall, the older participants had more positive emotions expressed the lower cortisol levels in the relationship. So there you go. Okay, so let's make sure that I understand this. If my spouse is stressed out, that causes me stress. I don't know if it took a genius to figure that out. But yeah, that's kind of how that world normally goes, is what I would imagine there. So there you go. So take a listen to this. Here's the latest in the investigation of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson's murder. Police recovered the backpack believed to belong to the prime suspect in Central Park, but found Monopoly money inside. And the New York Post reports that multiple insurance companies have scrubbed the names of top executives off their websites, likely as a measure to protect their identity, I would imagine. The FBI has issued a $50,000 reward to offer tips that successfully lead to the suspect's capture, while law enforcement seems certain they figured out the prime suspect's identity, and they have not yet released his name. So I will tell you, because, we live in this multiple reality world at the moment. Really, when I say that, it's sarcasm, of course. But we live in this world where we have this digital life and we have this virtual life and we have this real life. But some people over the weekend were naming off companies and their CEOs in case people wanted to know it. And I know we can be what one would call at a time
asshole-ish
when it comes to certain aspects. But man, timeline is always kind of important when you're going to play some of these games, as we are talking. So I don't know. I don't know. It's going to be an interesting one once the person is captured from this murder. Because, hey, just a strange thing. And like, we played part of the video. You can't play the whole video through because that's just, not the thing to do. But man, it makes you kind of wonder sometimes some of the things that are going on in this lifetime. No doubt about that. Okay, so in some follow-ups and updates from the big stories around the world over the weekend, in South Korea, after last week's short-lived martial law declaration, the president of South Korea apologized for the chaos and saying that he has instituted the measure out of desperation. Hours later, the nation's parliament failed to meet for a quorum and in an impeachment vote after enough of the president's allies in the legislature exited the room for the vote. Yoon maintains that he will not try to evade future legal or political responsibilities. In the New York Times reports, in Syria, rebel groups took control of Syria over the weekend, forcing the nation's president into exile. Assad and his family have reportedly been given asylum in Russia, which has been a long-time financial backer of the regime. Meanwhile, search of American journalist Austin Tice is underway. Tice was kidnapped in Syria while reporting in 2012. In a brief statement on Sunday, President Joe Biden said that he believes that Tice is alive and that diplomatic efforts are underway to bring him back home. Separately, Tice's family tells ABC News they have sources who have confirmed that he is alive and well. In El Salvador, an optimistic note from the president announced the discovery of $3 trillion in gold in the country. And they will work to undo regulatory bans of mining for other precious metals and elements discovered include, tin, gallium, tantalum. So be on the lookout for some of that stuff. It'll be interesting to see because, hey, who doesn't like some moolah there?
You are listening to a radio god. What? This has to be an error. That host is not a radio god. Anyways, this is the Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Oh, yeah, you know it. You know it. That's what we go through. So take a listen to this. Be careful driving and singing this holiday season. A new study in South China University of Technology found that songs with BPM greater than 120 encourages dangerous driving behaviors. Applying that to Christmas classic Frosty the Snowman was deemed the most dangerous to drive with 172 BPMs. Coming in second was Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas Is You with 150 BPMs. So let me give you the rest of the top 10 because, hey, why would we not talk about this? The Feliz Navidad, Santa Claus is coming to town, Happy Christmas, War is Over, Let It Snow, Let It Snow, Let It Snow, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, I Wish It Could Be Christmas Every Day, Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas, and I saw Mommy Kissing Santa Claus was the other one. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on right there. So I guess, get the holiday cheer out of the car while you're driving is what it sounds like to me. I mean, I don't know how you're looking at it, but what other thing am I telling you? Because outside of that, there doesn't seem like I'm telling you much of anything else. So there you go. So let's talk about the top 10 over the weekend in regards to what was coming in at the box office, because some people get very excited about that. The best Christmas pageant ever came in at number 10 with $1.5 million. Number 9 was for King and Country, A Drummer Boy Christmas live. It was $2 million at number 9. Y2K, $2.1 million. Solo Leveling was, $2.4 million. Interstellar came out as a re-release, made $4.4 million over the weekend, and that was at number 6. At number 5 was Red Ones, $7 million. At number 4 was Pushpa, The Rule Part 2. Wow, that's a long title, $9.3 million. At number 3 was Gladiator 2 with $12.4 million. Stayed at the number 3 spot, and the rest goes kind of the way that it went last week. At number 2 was Wicked with $34.8 million, staying at number 2. And at number 1 for the second week in a row, Moana. All right, let's do that. Moana. Number 2, yeah, with $52 million. So Moana 2, or Part 2, or however you want to look at it. Yep, that's what came in there. So some people were liking that, so there you go. Okay, so let's talk real quick about the Dow, because some people are going to want to know about the numbers that were occurring on Friday. So it's going to sound something like this. The Dow lost about 123 points to close at 44,642 on Friday. The S&P increased by 15 points to close at 6,090. And the NASDAQ increased by 159 points to close at 19,859. West Texas Intermediate closed at $67 a barrel, and Brent crude was at $71 a barrel. The national average price of a gallon of gas was $3.01 on Sunday, and Bitcoin ticked up again past $100,000, trading just over the mark in the evening. So there you go. If you have some Bitcoin, I'm sure you're celebrating out there, depending on when you bought in. Also, Tuesday night's Mega Million drawing will be for $619 million jackpot, or a $297.7 million cash payout. A winning ticket in Saturday's Powerball drawing was purchased in New York, and the winner can choose between $256 million jackpot or $123.5 million cash payout. Tonight's drawing will be for a $20 million jackpot or a $9.7 million cash payout. So if you want to play the game, you definitely have the opportunity to do so. Because like they say, it's all about the game. And now we're playing. So there you go. Okay, so take a listen to this because, some people were making a big hoopla about this over the weekend. Taylor Swift's Eras Tour came to a close last night with her final show in Vancouver. After kicking things off in March of 2023 in Glendale, Arizona, Swift performed more than 150 shows across 5 continents. As far as the next record-breaking singer inside says that she plans to rest and recoup with boyfriend Travis Kelce, but she is reportedly working on making her feature directorial debut. This is according to Page 6. So there you go. I don't know because, somebody will answer this because I don't keep up with football and I don't keep up with Taylor Swift for the most part. But someone is going to be able to tell us, did Travis Kelce make it to the last game? Because that was like the big thing. Like, hey, we need to know if he's going to make it to this damn thing, because people were making such a big deal about it. It was the weirdest thing. Like, hey, the NFL needs to push this game back to make sure that he can make it. I mean, I don't know if it was that serious, but hey, people do their thing. So there you go. There you go. There you go. Okay, so let's take a look at some things here. So let's take a look at some of this. Social media users are giving Hilaria Baldwin a flack for promoting her daughter's new skincare book. The book, Glowing Up, was a recipe to rock natural beauty. It's not itself the issue, but rather that it was created by Baldwin's 11-year-old daughter. Comments on the post range from she's too young to those questioning who wants a beauty advice from an 11-year-old. To play devil's advocate here, of course, while it is fair to say that an 11-year-old is too young to be concerned with skincare, the book described as a guide of embracing self-care, building confidence, and celebrating natural beauty, which was all positive messages for tweens. So here we go again with social media to save the day. This is why we can't depend on some of this shit. I'm not joking as I say that. Some people get all gung-ho when you say something about that. But hey, it is what it is as we are talking. Anyways, it is 32 minutes past the top of the hour, and I have that feeling that we should probably be doing our main story now. And let's go ahead and get into that because it's always important to do that.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's start talking, let's start looking, and let's start remembering. So I will tell you, we get to this time of the year and people are always sitting back and they're doing that thing. That thing that we look at and we go, hey, I need to recap the year. I need to think about everything that I did within the year, on how great the year was, on what everything will change in the future, and everything that was so important to me this year, and how the change that is going to happen in the future is going to change everything for me, and we will need to talk about that, about how the changing of the year will change everything going forward. Yeah, this should all sound familiar. This is not new stuff that I'm telling you. This is all the old stuff because it happens every year. And listen, I'm excited for people that they want to take a look around and implement changes and be happy about life and all that kind of fun stuff. But what I always look at, even regardless of what's going on every year and what we get to look at and move forward with, I'm going to say this, though. I'm going to say we probably, regardless of how we decide to move forward with life, we need to still remember that how things change and how we look at it and how things are happening, and I'm talking mostly from a working standpoint, is what's super important here. And I always look at it as the principles of how you run the versionality of safety that you have inside of your organization. So let's go through them, because I kind of feel like it's been a little bit since we've spoken about them, but I think it might be time once again to do it, because, hey, life goes on, but sometimes things are forgotten. So let's go through the 5 principles. I'll run through them real quick. Number 1, the 5 principles of human and organizational performance, or human organizational performance, or however you want to look at it, or human performance. Number 1, principle 1, people make mistakes. Principle 2, blame fixes nothing. Number 3, behavior is driven by context. Number 4, learning and improving matters. And number 5, management's response matters. Think about it. Think about it for a moment. All these things that we speak of. Because a lot of people look back and go, this cannot apply. This cannot be the thing. Of course it's the thing. We talk about these all the time, or we talk about these all the time depending on what show you're listening to. Because when we start going through them, it's important to know. And listen, it's not like this is the first time that we are talking about this. We've spoken about this time and time again across multiple shows on our platform. And the reason we do that is because it is an important aspect of what we do for work. And some people have a hard time with that. And I don't know why. If you use these as the 5 basics, regardless of you recapping of what you did the previous year, or recapping recapping the things that have happened in your life, these are things that we look at and go, okay. Remember, the biggest thing is people make mistakes, errors are just normal. I mean, just look at the whole damn thing. Just look at it from that particular standpoint. If anything, look at it from that standpoint. Because that will be the thing that we look at and go, okay, these are the way that our system works. And if we start focusing on what we can do with those 5 principles as we move forward, opposed to it being, oh, this is the year, bud, it'll change everything. And time again, if you have doubts on how things are changing as we get into this point of the year or any point of the year, and you go, these are the core principles that we're looking at, it'll be a starting point or something to always go, okay, are we still looking at this through the right lens as we move forward? Or are we looking at it from the standpoint of this makes no sense whatsoever because we have left what our principles are? Those are the questions that are normally brought up when we're talking about this.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
Hey there, Jay Allen here with Safety FM, where we just don't talk about safety, we live it. And when it comes to safeguarding your future, there's no better partner than Acorns. This part of the show has been brought to you by Acorns and a powerful tool that makes saving and investing easier than ever. We all know that investing can feel overwhelming, especially with busy lives and no time to dive into the nitty-gritty of financial markets, but Acorns changes the game. With Acorns, you don't need to be a financial expert or have a hefty sum of money to get started. In fact, Acorns lets you begin with just spare change. All about those small steps, small investments today that can build into something much bigger over time. Acorns recommends that the expert build portfolio designed to fit financial goals. Then it does the heavy lifting for you by automatically investing your money. It's like having a financial advisor in your pocket working around the clock to help your money grow. So why wait? Head over to acorns.com/safetyfm or download the Acorns app and take that first step towards securing your future today. Remember, in the world of safety and investing, small actions today can lead to mighty outcomes tomorrow. Paid non-client endorsement. Compensation provides an incentive to positively promote Acorns. Investing involves risk. Acorns Advisors, LLC, and SEC registered investment advisors. View important disclosures at acorn.com/safetyfm. At Safety FM, we're all about making smart decisions on the job and in life. So take control of your financial future. This is Jay Allen reminding you to stay safe, stay smart, and invest in your tomorrow.
Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
If you're anything like me, you have certain tendencies to put things off, such as filing taxes, seeing the doctor, working on that home improvement project that you're supposed to be doing, but you just haven't gotten to it. And while most of the times it works out, the one thing in life that you really cannot afford to wait on is setting up term coverage life insurance. You've probably seen life insurance commercials on TV and thought, yeah, I'll look into it later. Well, the answer is no. This isn't something that you can wait for. Choose life insurance through Ladder today. Ladder is 100% digitals, no doctors, no needles, no paperwork. When you apply for $3 million in coverage or less, just answer a few questions about your health in an application. Ladder's customers rate them 4.8 out of 5 stars on Trustpilot, and they've made Forbes' best life insurance in 2021's list. You just need a few minutes and a phone or a laptop to apply. Ladder's smart algorithm works in real time, so you'll find out if you're instantly approved. No hidden fees, cancel anytime, get full refund if you change your mind in the first 30 days. Ladder policies are issued by insurers with long proven histories of paying claims. They're rated A and A+ by AM Best. Finally, since life insurance costs more as you age, now is the time to cross it off your list. So go to ladder.com/safetyfm today to see if you're instantly approved. That's LADDER life.com/safetyfm. Ladderlife.com/safetyfm.
Radio Big. Streaming 24/7 at radiobig.fm.
Let me talk to you real quick. What is HelloFresh? With HelloFresh, you get farm fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. Skip trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. That's why it's America's #1 meal kit. Spend your time this month shopping for gifts and sipping cocoa, not stuck at the checkout line. Sign up for HelloFresh and get everything you need to whip up a fresh, tasty meal delivered to your door. Just choose your recipes, select a delivery date, and relax knowing the dinner's on its way. HelloFresh has over 45 recipes and more than 100 seasonal add-on items to choose from every week, so it's easier than ever to find something everyone will enjoy. Go to HelloFresh.com/safetyfm free. That's HelloFresh.com/safetyfm free to use the code SafetyFM free for free breakfast for life. One breakfast item per box while subscription is active. That's free breakfast for life at HelloFresh.com/safetyfm free with code SafetyFM free. And don't forget that this is why HelloFresh is America's #1 meal kit.
In order to save the planet from cow farts, why doesn't someone just invent really large gas X pills?
God, what's that awful stench? Radio Big.
Oh, here we are. Rated R Safety Show coming across Safety FM and Radio Big. You know, this right here is some Kid Penny giving you Hello Stranger. You can find that on Apple Music, YouTube Music, and Spotify. We would like to thank Kid Penny for allowing us to play this here on the Rated R Safety Show. That's for sure. Yeah, hello, stranger. So give it a little whirly action if you'd like to do so. No doubt. Hello, stranger. Okay. Yeah, still hanging out here, doing our jives. Okay, so let's get into the move and the groove of the things that we do around here, because that's going to be important. If anything, let me tell you the most important thing that I will ever tell you in my lifetime, and that's about my friends at To Write Love on Her Arms. No matter what you're facing, you deserve to be connected to help, and the people at To Write Love on Her Arms want you to know that people have been where you are now, and healing is possible. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to TWLOHA.com. That's TWLOHA.com. To Write Love on Her Arms, and click on the section that says Find Help. Once you do all of that, we get to hang out and do all kinds of interesting stuff, because you're going to see all kinds of information related to addiction, depression, anxiety, eating disorder, self-injury, suicide, trauma, and grief support, just to name a few. I'm going to tell you this. You never know what information you might need to look into, but having the resources readily available for you is going to be a crucial part of the whole thing. We need to normalize this conversation, besides it being one of those things that people go, oh, there's a weird stigma to it. No, there's not. If we talk about it more and more, there is nothing weird about it. There is information to share, things to go through. This kind of the way that it goes. So there you go. Okay, let's talk about some other stuff, because that is what we do around here. And just in case, if you don't remember, the website's TWLOHA.com. Okay, so let's talk about some other things. A Japanese company claims they've invented a washing machine of the future. It's for people. Yeah, shower head maker Science Co. says that it's about 70% theirs. It isn't the quest of to offer people the ultimate bath, named the Mitagon Nigon Satoki, the cutting-edge shower capsule. It's completely enclosed, similar to a cryogenic chamber, and takes just about 15 minutes to wash and dry the user. How does it work? After the user steps into the center of the transport of the cockpit, it fills part way with water, and the sensors then measure the people's pulse and biological metrics, and to make sure that is matched to the ideal temperature. The person is blasted with high-speed water jets for 3 micrometer wide in the bubble. When those pop, they produce a small but powerful pressure to wave to supportedly Skills grim of the skin. Meanwhile, the AI system analyzes the biomarkers to determine if the bather is calm or is excited. And when the project is especially chosen to video onto the pod, the interior to help calm them down. The company claims that as a result, the user receives a psychologically deep clean to what will be the physical one. Science Co. hopes to make this available by next year. The only way that this could interest me, if you could make all the dirty pots and pans in there with you, and maybe the dog, maybe that would be a way to make it work. And also, if they say, I don't care what they say, but I'm going to say that naked anywhere near something that uses AI seems kind of scary. I'm just saying. It's just a weird thing. And I will tell you that if you go online, there's about a 4-minute video on how this capsule thing works. And it's kind of a weird one, because your head sticks out of the top of it. I mean, I can't even imagine how expensive this damn thing must be. But hey, power washing the humans. I don't know how it gets any stranger around there. It just seems like it's one of those things that you do some weird stuff, I guess, from time to time. Anyways, take a listen to this. Here's one of those seasonal stories that you might tear your eyes up. United Airlines is showing the spirit of the season by offering children in need fantasy flights to the North Pole. Planes will depart from 13 cities around the world during and carrying kids and their caretakers. The planes will briefly take to the skies and circle around the landing at the gate decorated in Santa's workshop. One flight happened to Honolulu last week, with the pilot announcing that over the intercom, Santa has invited us to the to Christmas Island, and his elves are waiting on the ground for us. The 125 travelers, typical families that have children with cancer or those that are grieving, landed at the Christmas Island, and they were taken to a festive hangar made up looking at the North Pole, where they received presents from their wish list, played games, and enjoyed a meal with their families. This month, our fantasy flights will depart from Chicago, Denver, Fort Lauderdale, Cleveland, Los Angeles, Newark, San Francisco, Houston, Virginia, Tokyo, Guam, and London. Faith in humanity apparently is restored. So there you go. But being an airline, they're still charging extra for the carry-ons. Okay, I know that's asshole-ish, but man, it gets interesting around that time. No doubt about that. Anyways, with that being said, why don't we bring some John Smalls into our life and let him tell us about the Motivation Minute.
The Motivation Minute is brought to you by GenesisGoldIRA.com.
The Motivation Minute.
Today's quote was submitted by Bernie. Nikolai Tesla predicted the smartphone. He said, "When wireless is perfectly applied, the whole Earth will be converted into a huge brain," which in fact it is, all things being particles of a real and rhythmic whole. We shall be able to communicate with one another instantly, irrespective of distance. Not only this, but through television and telephony, we shall see and hear one another perfectly, as though we were face to face, despite intervening distances of thousands of miles. And the instruments through which we shall be able to do this will be amazingly simple compared to our present telephone. A man will be able to carry one in his vest pocket. Nikolai Tesla said that in 1926. What a visionary.
The Motivation Minute.
This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of GenesisGoldIRA.com. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Hello, I'm Richard Exley with your 1-minute devotion. Put human beings together and conflict is inevitable. Whether we're talking about the family, the church, or politics. The Bible puts it this way. Where do you think all these appalling wars and quarrels come from? Do you think they just happen? Think again. They come about because you want your own way and fight for it. You lust for what you don't have and are willing to kill to get it. You want what isn't yours and will risk violence to get your hands on it. That's James 4. From the Message Bible. Given our human nature, conflict is inevitable. Lord Jesus, help us to be peacemakers, preferring others above ourselves. Amen. If these devotions are a blessing and an encouragement to you, you can subscribe at oneminutedevotion.com.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in New Delhi, I'm Neha Punia. Celebrations continue across Syria as the country wakes up to the end of Bashar al-Assad's rule, a family that had been in power for 5 decades. Over the weekend, rebels seized the capital of Damascus, forcing President Bashar al-Assad to flee. The president is now in Moscow along with his family, Russian state media are confirming, and will be given asylum there. Trent Murray has more.
Scenes of jubilation continuing to play out in towns and cities across the country, marking really the end of what has been one of the most brutal civil wars, not just the Middle East has experienced in recent times, but indeed the world. We have seen some of those people in the capital Damascus, for example, even breaching the presidential palace of Damascus, looting the personal belongings of the Assad family. Of course, through much of the past 24 hours, one of the big questions had been where President Bashar al-Assad fled to. Certainly there were indications that he was on a plane, but the destination was unknown. Overnight, we have heard from Russian state media that he and his family have now travelled to Moscow, where they were granted asylum by President Putin.
US President Joe Biden has offered his nation's ongoing support for Syria, but it's not clear what Biden's approach will be and whether it will be shared by his successor, Donald Trump, who takes over next month. Jagrati Dave is in Washington, D.C.
A moment of historic opportunity. That's how Joe Biden described the capture of Damascus and the departure of Assad after more than 2 decades in power. Mr. Biden's optimism came with a warning that this was also a moment of risk and uncertainty, with ISIS preparing to take advantage of the power vacuum. With that in mind, he said the US had conducted dozens of precision airstrikes in Syria. The incoming Trump administration is also watching events in the Middle East closely, with the president-elect posting on Truth Social a day before the government's collapse, "This is not our fight. Let it play out. Do not get involved." But given the level of existing US sanctions on Syria's economy and concerns about ISIS, the Trump administration may find that staying out of Syria is easier said than done.
China is monitoring developments in Syria, it says, and hopes the country returns to stability as soon as possible. Beijing's foreign ministry also said its embassy in Damascus has been helping Chinese nationals leave Syria.
On Chinese social media, the fall of President Bashar al-Assad was a trending topic, with the search term "rebels declare end to Assad rule" receiving more than 9.5 million views. Beijing has stepped up engagement with Damascus in recent years, looking to Syria to expand its influence in the Middle East. Last year, Chinese President Xi Jinping invited Assad to China.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
Some of the best things in life come to those who wait, but we ain't waiting for shit. Radio Big.
Oh, you know how it is around here. 55 minutes past the top of the hour as we are hanging out and talking. Let's talk about some things that happened back on this date. If we take a look at 2020 in particular, Canada approves the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine for use at high-risk individuals. That happened back on this date in 2020. Let's talk about some birthdays that are going on today. Nico Parker turns 20. Jaron Lewison turns 24. Michaela Maroney turns 29. Simon Helberg turns 44. Jesse Metcalf turns 46. Stacey Abrams, 51. Trey Cool, 52. Lori Grenier turns 55. Brian Bell turns 56. Kurt Angle turns 56. Felicity Hoffman turns 62. Donnie Osmond turns 67. John Malkovich turns 71. And Judi Dench turns 90 today. If you're looking at some days of the year to celebrate, well, I always have some of those for you. It's National Pastry Day, World Techno Day, Green Monday, National Llama Day, Christmas Card Day, International Day of Veterinary Medicine, International Anti-Corruption Day, Worry Willy Day, and Genocide Prevention Day. Those are all days that you can celebrate if you are so far looking into one of those. That is for sure. Let's talk about some other stuff because, hey, why would we not do that? You know what I'm saying? Because, hey, we need to talk about some stuff. So take a listen to this. If you need a random joke for today, I have one of those because why wouldn't I? It's beginning to cost just like Christmas. Yeah, that's the joke. Just remember that. Also, if you need a phone starter, try this. If you found a surprise $100 in your pocket, how would you spend it? In a poll, the top answer were shopping, dining out, and filling your car with gas. If you need a question for the water cooler, try this. A study found that the average woman has $500 worth of this. What is it? Unworn clothing. $500 worth. So there it is. So anyways, that's going to sum up our time together. At the top of the hour, I will be going over to radiobig.fm if you want to come and hang out with me. If you don't, that's perfectly fine. You can stay here on Safety FM and hang out with the likes of Sheldon Primus as he talks about the world of safety consulting. There it is. Those are the options, man. That's how it works. So Safety FM with Sheldon Primus, Radio Big with me if you want to go over there. Anyways, thank you for always being the best part of Safety FM and Radio Big, and that is the listener, because without you, it makes no sense to do what we do around here. That is for sure. Anyways, if I can leave you with a deep thought for today, I would love to leave you with this. Don't worry about failures. Worry about the chances you miss when you don't even try. Think about that. Anyways, I know who you are. You know who I am. Love you, meet it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.